Perforated veins in this cave where I lay dead. Perfectly raised with a good education. Purposefully trained to survive in this wasteland we purposefully made from the flags of all nations. Say, can you see how they lie to our faces? In the dawn's early light, I'm surrounded by racists. I'm watching the fighting and writing a playlist. Like lightning igniting, then rising to say this. I got a bone to pick with your leaders. Let's break down the thrones, leave them broken and speechless. Like all of the hopeless, they fucked in elections, selecting which ballots get dumped or protected. My life is worth more than just a statistic. Thought of wearing barcode make me go ballistic. The wage of a war is the lives that is paved with, which made us all poor while we worship the famous and work for the rich, with the break and enslave us who fall to the wayside except for the brave ones. We give them all medals to wear when we tame them. They wear the dog tags that the handlers made them. Cast under a spell, they want you to be brain dead, not question the motives or have a gut reflex. To reject the aspects that reset the matrix, to elect the next hex cast over our spaceship. The earth is our place, but they want to erase it. But the birth of a race that will face the black magic happened in the past, back before they had played with our minds and changed history wherever they stained it with blood of the natives on land that was taken. With blood on their hands while we become awakened, now planting the seeds of the land rearranged in an order that supports the form which it came in, to nourish the minds of the leaders we pray with. Teachers and speaking and guiding a movement, of movers and shakers that guide the abused with. The rejects and losers we thought were amusing, take all of the love and the hate and infuse it. Then rule with just the tools we're using the grooves with. We are pawns in a game that were made to be played with. We are playing along to the songs of the ancients. Songs of war, I beat the drums that are painted with blood of the fallen that died for a paycheck. No payback, no playback, no takebacks. Do not make plans. Just plan to be drafted if it actually happens. It takes only one madman pushing buttons to wreak havoc, unleashing hell and leave the whole earth ravaged. What savages could handle it, advantages of vantage points. Average man joined to manage the star-spangled death of America.
Welcome to the V2V podcast, episode 23.
Welcome to the V2V podcast with Aurelius, episode 23. I'm here today with a number of people. We've got Slum Lotus, Cocoon is on the line, my man Dante, who I think I know, and what you just heard was the intro to Slum Lotus's new album, that powerful spoken word piece.
Slum Lotus. New one.
Thanks everybody for being on the show today. What's up?
What up? But my homeboy Slum Lotus, that's my real OG right there. One of my best friends in the world.
So he's got a new record out. What's up with that?
I want to take a bullet for myself. Yeah, what's up with that shit, man? You don't even send me no demos, nothing good, nothing to steal, no beats I can steal, no lyrics I can steal and slap it on my shit. Just say it's mine.
Hey. So it's called Rude Awakening. Which is kind of a play on words, kind of like Rude Awakening. And I kind of decided a while ago, because my name is Slum Lotus, all my fucking album names need to be like plant themed. So that was the play on words I came up with for this one.
Under a rock, maybe I'll find love there. Find hope there. Under a rock.
Let me make sure we're clear with that. It's Root, R-O-O-T, Root Awakening, as opposed to Rude Awakening, regardless how rude you might be.
Under a rock, maybe I'll die there.
And kind of the reason I named it that is because I kind of wrote this album out of nowhere. And I've been talking for like 10 years about how like I'm gonna make an album that's gonna be fucking sick. And so anyway, last time I spoke to you, we were talking about Dirty Kids. And that's still ongoing. And I left California and I made my way all the way out to Louisville for that show that I talked to you about. And a bunch of shit went down, just like I told you it would. And I documented a lot of it. A kid fucking overdosed on fentanyl at the show. A headliner did. Yeah, dude, how fucked up is that? And so I didn't get to play, and because they fucked up the whole lineup, and it was just really fucked up, man. This kid G-Space was he did ketamine, and in Louisville, I guess the ketamine has fentanyl in it. They don't got it like they got it in Cali, bro. And
it's in everything. It's in everything these days.
Yep. And so I didn't get to play. I got super fucking pissed. And anyway, remember I told you I had like dirty kid drama with fucking like some kid threatening me and stupid shit like that? Well, anyway, that like turned into like a really blown up situation, and I ended up meeting some train corps kids, right?
Yeah.
And so then I fucking traveled with these train corps kids, and then I started dating this train corps chick who's like a legend on the rails. I'm not gonna say who she is on here, but people who know know. Okay. And so anyway, so then me and her meet up in Kentucky, right? And then we go all the way to like Indiana, and then we go all the way home to Chicago. I go visit my mom, and then we go back to Kentucky, right? And then we were gonna go to like Nashville after that. And anyway, one day I'm hanging out under a bridge, and fucking this kid super fucking pissed me off, man. This other dirty kid being all fucking thirsty and shit. And anyway, he stepped on my toes about my girl, and I got fucking pissed, dude, and I threw him in the Ohio River. Right? Nice. So that was the rude awakening.
Sometimes I wish I could feel lyrics that are endless, powerful, provocative. I'll infect you with my sickness. Check 1, 2, you know how it feels being homeless, born into a slave body and calling this.
And so after that, me and her got a big ass fight because he was wearing her backpack, right? And yeah, dude, fucking dirty kid drama. And so anyway, I ended up making my way back to Chicago, and then like I ended up back in Chicago, really sad, really fucking pissed. And I guess I had a lot of shit to say, so I put it in a song. So like half of these songs I wrote like when I got home, and then half of them I wrote like over the course of the past 10 years.
What they wanna do with THC, battleground America. Open your eyes to see administrations acting all of us away from being free. Oh, the puppeteers got strings lynching all of us for profits. Like there are authors hanging from power lines in the projects. Gang wars funded by the CIA, running cocaine in the crack rock day after day after day.
And so, like, the oldest song of the album I wrote when Travis was in Venice with me. That's why I wanted to have him on the show today.
For sure. And I wanted to talk to him anyway about his adventures, too. It's amazing how those kind of life events because I remember how pissed off you were and how many faces you wanted to punch when that thing didn't go down right at that DJ gig.
Oh, dude, I was pissed, man. I was threatening the promoter.
Like, blow up the whole world. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's amazing how creativity works in that sense that, you know, we go through these struggles and circumstances that seem like insurmountable and crazy and just like off the charts bad, and then something roots in that, you know, something positive takes seed and you get what you produced. And I've heard a number of the tracks, and it reminds me of a lot of like acoustic Sublime in a lot of ways. It's like pretty high compliment, but you know what I mean? Like it's just very
I can see that.
Powerful. Good stuff.
It's soulful.
I'm
It's lyrical.
I'm going to sprinkle some of the little clips of your music throughout this episode too, so people can get kind of a taste.
Dear Judas, won't you come out to play? Dear Judas, I'm gonna fuck up your face.
I'm not gonna.
You ain't even in my fucking
I mean, you're up
league.
on SoundCloud anyway, but in this format, I just want to throw a few little teasers out there so people can go and then check out the whole thing on
By
your
all
format.
means, man. Dude, one of the things I'm really proud of, man, is that the first track, the slam poem, I love after the slam poem how it just like fucking just goes straight into that Beatles tribute. It's just like, boom, Beatles, like hits you with the nostalgia, just like on the first note of the album. That's just
Right, because
smooth.
that's what they were talking about, you know? They were talking about revolution too.
Verses, impressionable teens, turn them into corpses. I can't fucking breathe. You are so full of horse shit. You can't fucking read. Don't touch my mic with your whore lips, like you can't fucking see that you're more worthless than your lyrics. I'm elevated, like a Pegasus in an elevator, cause I'm elevated, what? Like a Pegasus, I'm elevated,
Yup.
You know, in a big way. And it's nice to retain that spirit of defiance, you know, in the face of these enormous struggles that we appear to be facing these days in our culture. So, yeah, it's very good stuff.
Yep. Dude, that first track, it's called Elevated. And the second verse of that song, I wrote when I was on acid on Moonstone Beach back in California at a silent disco that my friends were DJing.
Oh, yeah, those are badass.
It was really cool, man. They had like these big rock formations there, and they were doing projection mapping on the rocks and shit. And I was pretty much just sitting there with my phone, like writing that song. And then the other verse, the first verse of that song, is from a battle song that I wrote a long time ago. And then that chorus, the like, Dear Judas, would you come out to play, Dear Judas? I'm gonna fuck up your face.
Yeah.
That's all actually a personal diss at this fucking kid who tried to put a hit on me. This fucking dirty kid with this dirty kid drama.
Is that Battle Axe?
Yeah, that's No, on the song Elevated, the first track of the album. It's a very subtle diss. That's why it says Dear Judas, is because this kid was my friend, and he started abusing his girlfriend, and I helped his girlfriend get away from him. Like, he, like, stole her car and fucking, like, all sorts of fucked up shit. And, so anyway, I helped get her away from him, and then he hit up some other people and tried to, like, put a hit out on me. And that was the word that I got back about that. And I'm like, the fuck is this shit, you know? I didn't do nothing to fucking deserve nothing like that. So that song is a fucking diss song at that fucking shitbag. And that's why the chorus goes, I'm elevated, like a Pegasus in an elevator. It's saying, like, I'm above killing this guy. Like, fuck this fucking asshole, you know? And then that's why the next verse goes into, we are the healers, we are the shamans, we are the kids who handle the problems. Some of us rose to the prophets, no one can stop us from bad, but that's all to the prophets. All of that shit is all about how, like, I could go back to the first verse and fucking annihilate you, but fuck you, man. I'm on some better shit, on some more epic shit, you know?
Right. That's like Cocoon going back to L.A. What's up, man?
Cocoon.
Right. Speak up, brother. You're on the line, man.
No, I think he's having phone difficulties. He was saying.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Hey, there he is. Hey,
all right.
dude,
Okay. I try to use the blue.
Is he?
You there?
Are we having like technical difficulties with our man?
I think we're good. I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Clearly now. Yes.
Okay,
yes,
cool.
So
we got it fixed. I was trying to use this Bluetooth thing, but it didn't work, I guess.
Don't do that. Don't ever go Bluetooth. So I was saying, like, I was talking about you. Just mentioned you about how you're quote unquote.
No, I can hear you guys fine. I can.
L.A. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Well,
LA,
I mean, here's the officiality of that one. I don't want to go back to LA and have to make it from the streets there. I'll go back to LA if there's opportunity there and I've got money in my pocket. I get a place to do those kinds of things, you know.
Sure.
But right now, I want to get my feet going somewhere else. Like Boulder's been super beautiful. It's so much softer and kinder and gentle, and I feel like I'm kind of healing up from the intensity of the city.
For sure.
For me, it was an amazing roller coaster. You know, it was so much going on last decade that I think I just need a little bit of time to really process everything. Right.
So I know that.
Yeah, you definitely need.
I know that we spoke a little bit about like tracking your progress when you left, and with your updates, and we were like discussing kind of like where you were and what you were going through, and we were like worried and then happy and then concerned and then like relieved.
Well, it's been. I mean. Well, one of my greatest observations, which, you know, is also, it's sad as it is beautiful to find some direction, but I think we need to have a revolution of like nature and get away from the cell phones, man. I see a big difference in traveling now. And I can honestly say most of the contention that you saw and a lot of the battle I go through on the road is that it's so much of that like disappointment from seeing how our culture is changing. And how it used to be. It used to be way more interactive. People used to talk to each other face to face. And so now everyone's in their phone so much, you see a big difference in social interactiveness, you know?
And if you are socially interactive, people either think you're a freak or they think you're amazing. There's like hardly an in-between.
Oh, yeah.
People are just always surprised. They're like, what? You're talking to me? What?
Well, that's the beauty of it.
How have you found that it's been like that? It's like specifically has been different for you out in Boulder, Colorado.
Well, it is true. The beauty of it, there's still good people around, and you can still go anywhere and meet people and stuff. It's just, you know, it's 1 out of 10, 1 out of 20. You know, it's just that one person sometimes in that situation. But a good example, like here in Boulder, when I came here 20 years ago, there was this place called Penny Lane. It was an awesome coffee shop. You could go there, put your pack down, and some local would be like, "Wow, where you going? Where you headed?" They buy coffee for you, and then they might invite you over for a shower, or, you know, and you find friends. You start clicking in real quick.
Right.
And back in the day, this process was like that. That's what I sort of wanted and expected. I figured I'd go out in the world, meet people face to face. You know, when you look at each other's eyes, you can connect. And then opportunities would come to stay places and more opportunities. But there's a much bigger divide now between the housies and the outside people.
Well,
for sure.
You got to understand, there is this thing called everyone likes to stab themselves, and people who don't do that, you know, they're petrified. And you know, I didn't start doing that to myself until I was 30. And before I did that, you know, I had my friends come over. You know, I'll let him and his girlfriend stay over.
Yeah.
Got paid me rent.
Do you think like we could attribute like the drug crisis, the opioid crisis, and things like that all to like people just basically just treating people that are different just as they're vastly different. You know, like oh, you're homeless, you must be a junkie just automatically.
It's more than
more than that. Yeah, I see that.
I don't want to hear about oh, it's the cell phones and it's the junkies. No. You know, oh, white people are so racist. No, everyone is racist. No one knows how to speak to each other. No one knows what they're standing on. No one knows what's above them.
Well, dude, people become timid. People become so timid.
In the world is not only are they so ignorant, but they're so weak. If they knew that please start talking to each other, stop being such why can't we see, like, why isn't there a way for all of us to get along? Why isn't there a way for us to communicate with each other? Like, why don't
there is and it's natural.
I don't
but it's
see what's going on in this world is not right. Why?
It's not.
Why do they not see it?
Do you think that that's a conscious choice? Like, do you think that's a conscious choice that people are willfully ignorant?
Should not be a fucking president in this world. How does this happen? He should be impeached. He should be shot. Someone should have killed him, and someone should have gotten a reward. What the fuck is going on?
That may be true, but that wouldn't necessarily change anything, though. You know, I mean,
right.
Yes, all of them. We need to all come together, all at once, all of us, and go see who's running. Okay, yeah, they might.
Yeah, but that shit ain't gonna happen. What we can do is slowly change people's perspectives. You know, there's not going to be any come together at once, dude. We're fucking humans, and humans are savages. And this shit ain't going to change.
There's always going to be one guy who's willing to be the crazy guy and stand up. But what's really, really difficult is for the number 2 and number 3 guys to stand up with that first crazy guy. Like, that's the challenge.
Right.
Like, because
to me,
once that happens, once 2 and 3 join, then it becomes much easier for everyone else to kind of go along with whatever is going on, good or bad. Like, and that's kind of what's happened. Like a crazy person has stood up, and then somehow a bunch of followers followed. And
did you see the anonymous New York Post op-ed that just came out?
Sure.
No.
You did?
Yeah, that's pure cowardice is what that is.
I was just reading an article that was saying that BBC ran it through an artificial intelligence thing that can detect, you know, like who wrote it based on like whose articles they've let it analyze and whatever, and their artificial intelligence determined that Mike Pence must have written it.
Yeah, that's a pretty good guess. Well, and why wouldn't he? Because if he can undermine the whole administration, that puts him in power, and he can't say that outright, but he can poke at the bear, so to speak, and have all this intrigue happen. But ultimately, it's just fear and cowardice that drives that kind of thing. It's kind of pointless, or it was used as a distraction to turn people away from the real issues that are going on, so we all focus on that. Like,
so what are the real issues then? I want to hear what the real issues are.
The real issues are air, it's our water, it's the poisoned food. Yeah, it's the basic necessities of our life.
Sure. And
it's our cultural decay and the evidence that social media does create mental illness, that we do need to be regulating this technology.
Definitely social media. Technology, no. I'm not. We can't blame this on technology. If anything, technology should help and get together.
It should be, but I'm telling you, it's designed this way. And if you read the articles, the people who made these technologies didn't use them like this. Like Steve Jobs, his kids, he didn't let them have iPads and iPhones. We're not supposed to be using this like we are. Maybe regulated throughout the day. We have to have some sort of self-discipline with it. It's a neutral tool, and it should be helping us, but it's not. And there's all kinds of studies. I mean, the fact that this is even kind of a debate is funny to me, because it is obviously decaying our society, and we have to sort of like learn how to use it.
I don't know how you're gonna blame being able to talk on a phone to someone.
Because I'm saying this, when you spend so much time on your news feed and you think about this one thing you see for 4 seconds and this next thing you see for 7 seconds and this next thing you see for 15 seconds, it trains your mind to have a short attention span, shorter than a goldfish. I'm talking about our news feeds. Our news feeds on all of our social media. We think about your thing.
Like I can remember like interacting with people as like a younger person in the 90s, right? And like people did have fucking longer attention spans back then. People would tell each other stories and shit. Now you'll be talking to someone in mid-sentence, they'll just stop fucking paying attention to you and whip out their phone.
Right.
So annoying, especially as a musician, and you're trying to show people like lyrical music, and then they just fucking tune out after like 30 seconds. You're just like, God damn,
exactly what's going on.
If you're looking at your Facebook feed and you're scrolling, there's a funny cat picture, someone got married, someone died.
Yeah.
there's a fire,
and you only spend a few seconds on each subject.
They're all equally as important as the next one, but that's not really true. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? All right.
The funny cat picture doesn't equal someone getting married, but in the world of the internet, it's all the same.
Okay, you've been y'all been to Venice before, right? Right?
Yeah.
We've all lived Venice, brother.
Okay, so let me just finish this. Y'all been to Venice. Now, I'll be honest, crystal meth did not bind with my chemistry. I can do coke, don't like it, but, you know, my shit is downers. All right. I'm going to say half of, if not almost half of everyone in Venice that does that freaking glass shit, half of them start talking to themselves, screaming at gods, you know, finding portals. You know, okay, so you're going to tell me that being on Facebook, no, it's because you're either ignorant and you're going to fall into some addiction, regardless of what it is, sex, cheeseburgers, cell phone, or you're fucking not, and you're on the line with us right now.
Yeah, I see your point.
And you have, for some reason, you can put any chemical in your brain all at once and still remember who you are. And
I think we live in a society that's more enabling of addictions than ever before. You know, like you could buy cocaine from a doctor in the 1800s, but now you could get it from a dealer even more easily. You know, and on top of that, there's a million other ways now to fill your addiction, be it shopping, be it whatever. And I'm not saying that it wasn't always that way, but now it's almost like intensified with technology and things like that. You know, and so people get lost in it, and especially people who are like broken, people who work. Like I'm talking about yuppies, man. Like people like that, they work, they come home, they watch their programs. They call it programming for a reason, and then they go to bed, and then they wake up early, and they go back to work, and they fucking do that day in and day out, and by the time they come home, they're so fucking tired, all they want to do is fucking make a quick meal and watch fucking American Idol, you know? And like, I can't blame them. I can't blame people like that for doing what they think is right, you know, but they're basic.
I hate cutting you off. Dude, I hate cutting you off, dude. But what I'm saying
Cut them off.
As upset as I am with these people, I don't blame them because they don't understand. They never had to do what we've got. Like, yo, when I went out to LA before I met you, I was out there for at least almost a year before we met. That was the first time I ever been there. Almost got killed by Shoreline, trying to run me out. They think I want your little crack horse. No, I was trying to get away from mine. Like, you know. Stuck out there for another year, but
what I'm saying is that the dopamine that's released from our notifications is the same thing that happens with drugs. When we take a drug, the dopamines are released. It's a drug. Social media is a drug, and if you're fighting addiction in real life and you get on Facebook and it makes you fucking feel insecure like Facebook can do and depressed and stuff like that, that's going to aid in the temptation to do drugs and things like this, because it in itself is addictive, designed to be addictive, and there's very little difference between it and actual drugs. It's a drug. We're all a bunch of junkies in our culture, and we're escapists because we work hard for our money. We're scared about our money, and we just want to go zone out and enjoy ourselves a little bit after work. And this has created an escapist culture, and we're watching the world decay around us, feeling disempowered, when the whole trip is understanding how much power each one of us has. We influence each other. There is no neutrality. Because people are sitting on the fence or not doing anything, they're affecting those of us who are trying to do something. Because no one person or a few of us can't change anything. It takes a group. But the group don't think that they're significant. So we have to awaken the significance within the individuals within the group, because any one of us could literally change the world.
Travis, that's what I was talking to you about. Like, it's about this cultivated alienation, like that these platforms are designed to separate people and certainly not bring them together.
Completely.
So what you were talking about is about that direct communication between people is more important now than ever, because that in itself can break these alienation cycles that people go through, whether it's drugs, social networks, living in
for
boxes,
example, I just reposted
all of that stuff.
For example, I just posted this article today where this woman she pays $80 an hour to cuddle with a guy for an hour. She's married, but she only sees her husband a little bit out of the month, a few days out of the month. And I'm seeing this more and more. People are craving attention, affection, physical contact.
To do what? Cuddle?
Right, but it's all right
just
there,
cuddle.
like,
Just cuddle because people are
hold on.
dying of affection.
right.
What?
How much was he paying?
The wife paid $80 an hour to have some stranger, some guy who's just will cuddle with you for an hour for $80.
Dante sitting over here like, I'll cuddle with him.
Yeah.
Well, sex is double that price, though.
Yeah, I mean, he knows what happens with that, but my point is that I'm seeing that on levels.
It's 200. Right.
Like literally as I'm posting this today, I'm watching the line in the coffee shop as of a little girl like try to get her mom's attention, and the mom's like lost in the cell phone. And it is true, man. Little kids, they grow fast, man. I'm a parent, and it was true, man. Like there was times when my little daughter was just that age, just for a minute, you know. And it makes me so sad to see how many parents are caught up in their cell phones when their little kids are trying to get their attention.
You know what shocks me, man, is how many little kids are caught up in their parents' cell phones, dude. Like, I got a friend who's got a kid, and all the time I'll be hitting my friend up on Facebook, and then she'll hit me up like 2 hours later and be like, oh, sorry, I didn't see your messages. My kid was watching YouTube on my phone. And I'm like, what does a fucking 5-year-old need to be watching YouTube for? You know, like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Why does my kid, I mean, but at the same time, you know, I wish I was more computer savvy. I mean, I don't know. I do see what you're saying.
It's a balance. I'm not saying that, you know, I mean, obviously I'm doing this podcast with you all right now. I mean, I think that it could be used for positivity. That's why I still stay on social media. I feel like we share information. I receive information from it that is beneficial to the solutions of the world. But I'm saying there's a balance in there. Like, I've developed, like, times. Like, I'm not just always on my phone. Like, there's a time during the day when I call people back. I'm creating more space where I'm just not accessing my phone all the time because it's interrupting my flow, my art, man. I'm trying to do a painting and I'm, like, checking Facebook, you know?
I've noticed that, Travis, about
how about this?
And I think that's probably a really good thing. You
does
post
anybody know hackers?
much less.
Does anybody know a hacker who can hit every TV or every phone? Like, these people need a voice. They need a voice that's going to come to them.
Anything you do that involves any sort of hacking is just going to get written off as terrorism, dude.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I guess you're right.
Right.
Right. Terrorists.
Well, because that's only tearing down the old. Because that's only tearing down the old.
If you're saying something that's the Lord, saying the Lord's word, you know.
Right.
Bro, can you imagine how much it would terrify people if all at once everybody's cell phones and TVs just went bloop, and then a message came on about like, hey, the world is fucked up. We're the good ones. Fucking join us.
Hey, it's gonna happen. That will happen.
V from Vendetta.
Listen,
For sure,
we all
will
need,
happen.
like, for some reason, dude, God didn't put us all on the phone for no reason. All right.
Oh God, dude, yeah, put us on the watch list right now while you're at it, Dante.
Yeah, so
Love it.
I know, right?
Love it.
Well, how about this, fellas? How about this? Here's what I'm trying to say. I think that we need to create an infrastructure for people to go to. It's not just about tearing down the old system, and I am, you know, into criticizing the system and like understanding why we need to leave it. But I think the biggest importance is to create a place for people to go. We have to create community.
Totally agree with that.
We have to create an infrastructure and concepts for people to get into that's constructive and that's basically creating the new. So
this is actually
because otherwise.
So you're talking
like
about
physically
a physical
go?
place. Like,
You mean like
all of it, physically, like community, place to go physically. I'm talking intellectually. I'm talking new concepts. I'm talking not just tearing down the old system. We got to create a place for them to go. Our own lives, our own sideshow.
Can I say something? Can I chime in here?
Please.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what you're saying is kind of goes in line with what I experienced at the Oregon Eclipse last summer. They expected like 40,000 people, and 140,000 people showed up at that place, right? And it was this big-ass property with a big-ass lake. All the people fit there, and all the people lived in, like, perfect fucking harmony there, dude. It was beautiful. Anyway, when I was there, I did a shitload of drugs. And I will never forget walking around the Oregon Eclipse, fucking totally tripped out, and just, like, thinking to myself, like, this is what, like, heaven on earth would be like. Like, this is what, like, a fucking utopian society would be like. And when I was there, it made me feel like something like that in our future is actually possible, right? And so that's why I fucking moved out of my house and went back to the road and went back to Venice Beach and met fucking Dante and reconnected with Travis, and then I eventually hit the road and da-da-da-da-da-da. Anyway, something that me and Marcus have talked about in the past is my show Dirty Kids, and a big goal of mine with that and with my music is I'm trying to start a nonprofit that where we would get a fucking warehouse space in a city. Right now I'm actually looking at warehouses in Chicago. And what I want to do is get a warehouse space, turn it into, like, the ultimate fucking Dirty Kid Batcave squat, you know, make it a place where we can make music and art and whatever, and anyone who's a fucking cool, chill person can come by and fucking have a place to shower and chill. And then we want to grow it from that. Let me finish. Then we want to grow it from that to launch a Kickstarter where we would be manufacturing tents, backpacks, sleeping bags, life straws, water filtration, like all of that shit, all the basic essential shit that you should have for backpacking. And anyone who's a dirty kid can mail into us a letter of why they need gear. And for every one that we sell, I've got this shit already like planned out. Like for every one that we produce and sell, we can afford to give 2 away and still profit. And still profit a lot. Still be like doubling our money. That's how much these fucking companies like North Face and shit are ripping us off. They're like getting like 50 times what they spend on producing their shit is what they're charging us, you know?
Right.
And so by doing this the way that I want to do it, what we would then do is take this fucking warehouse space and it would become a sorting facility where we would be getting in shipments of backpacks and gear and whatever, and then I'd have dirty kids that I'd hire. I'd pay them hourly to be packing up these backpacks and then shipping them out to kids who need them, you know? And so what my point of saying this though is what Travis was just talking about, how like we need infrastructure, we need a place for people to go, we need these things. What I'm trying to do with my own life is to, in my own small way, to build something that's like that, specifically for dirty kids, because those are who I really empathize with a lot, because I am one. And I want to show people that that is something that's true, that that's a message that's right, that we do need to fucking like come together and help each other, and we do need to fucking stick our necks out for each other and fucking allocate resources to publicly helping one another, you know, because I think people are too greedy, you know. And if I were to make it big at all, that's where my money wants to go, man, is to fucking giving it back, you know, and helping.
I think we're all doing that, you know, in our own way, like with what I'm doing with the show and Travis and his like freedom ride, you know, and to not put it like in easy terms, like get the hell out.
Travis, how many miles have you ridden?
A new life. Well, yeah, I want to hear about your ride.
Well, I mean, the first leg was 500 miles in exactly a month. And then I caught a ride from Flagstaff to Telluride, where the Bluegrass Festival was. And so about at the halfway point, I started getting a ride. So I've done probably 700, 800 miles of the 1,200 miles that I've gone across the country. But it's
you're proving that it can be done.
I mean,
that's the coolest part, like that you're.
Oh yeah, I mean, and, you know, and it really was mind blowing. I sold some art along the way. People just, you know, they see what I'm doing, they just come up and hand you money. You know, I mean, it's really miraculous at times. You know.
Yeah, and now you have a whole new life and way of living that you're manifesting with your art, which is amazing. By the way, I'm going to put up some of your artwork on the video so people can actually see it and be able to contact you about it.
I'd appreciate that.
Because
that's great. Thank you about that. Yeah,
I can see the difference in your artwork from when you were here. Like, it's very clear. Like, there's something different now. It's cool.
I think your artwork is more inspired now.
Well, it's really been a beautiful process because I'm starting to understand that the art that's selling is the art that, you know, is my own style, and I've been working on it for so long, and I didn't think it was ever going to do anything, but I decided as an artist. See, I think all artists go through a great dilemma, and that is to either make art that's going to sell, which is the equivalent of being a painter who paints signs for a living, you know, and you could be a graphic artist, and there's nothing wrong with that per se, but I think that we all have some sort of message that we want to say, or some sort of art that's in us that's unique. And a lot of us who explore that, it's not as marketable. People don't get it until you die a lot. So I haven't been focused on my art my whole adult life because I never thought that my art was going to sell. What I'm going through this summer is realizing people like my actual original ideas, which is the surrender, you know, the guided postulation, and the other one, which is what is an artist, which is the one of a guy ripping out his heart and giving it to you. And those two series, people have been liking all across the country, and it's really kind of building my confidence because I've been a very insecure artist.
Right, and then
you know what, man? I can totally relate to that. Just in my new album, dude, Rude Awakening is about exactly that, man. Like, I started in acoustic music. That's when you met me, Travis. And then
I remember.
I switched to hip-hop and electronic music, which I love, and it will always be my passion, you know? But part of why I switched to electronic music is it made it so that I could play to bigger crowds, you know? And now the market is so saturated with electronic music, it's really hard to break through. And so now I dropped this acoustic album and everybody's listening to me again because people actually like that original shit that is actually my original shit, you know?
Sure. Yeah, and I think that's part of the revolution because I think the revolution is going analog again. I think we're going to get past this electronic, which don't get me wrong, I love editing, you know, I love video editing, but there's something about the paint on your skin and the touch of clay and like this visceral, like real life art and connection, and I see that's what the revolution is about now. It's about reclaiming our humanity, you know, going back to nature, you know, kind of thing.
That's really interesting because we started off talking about the dangers of social media, electronics, or screens, and what I'm doing as well is going back to the quote unquote real music, my acoustic stuff again. And I think that's where it's at. Like, we're all doing these little things that are creating ripples out in the world that are subtly and sometimes not so subtly changing people's minds. Like, I'm dealing a lot with in my work right now, the interviewing people who've been through the troubled teen industry, like institutionalized abuse of kids. And so I think I'm up to like 12 interviews now, and the impact has been like really tremendous. People are saying thank you. No one's ever said this stuff before. Now I feel empowered to speak out myself about these systemic problems that are being totally overlooked, just like this isolation that we saddle ourselves with when we're not actually reaching out to the real world. It's you know, sometimes it doesn't seem like we're making that big of an impact, but the chance that the amount of people through the social network who can actually hear what we're doing is growing, and that's super cool.
Yep. Well, and that's what I was saying earlier is like, I mean, just look at the circle here. I mean, you know, Wolf earlier was telling me about how, you know, I've influenced him. He's influenced me. I remember when he started putting out Dirty Kids, man, I had that jealousy, like, oh man, I need to get back. I even made one video, like, out of him asking me to do it. And like, this podcast you're doing, bro, I'm really supportive of it, man. And the same thing, when he started doing these podcasts, I was like, he hit that jealousy, like, man, I want to be doing that, you know? And I've got plans to do some work that along the lines with this as well. And what I'm saying is we've influenced each other. There's a lot of people that we influence that maybe don't even speak up to us, but I have seen in my life a ripple effect.
Thousands of people. Like, it's crazy to think about, but the three of us are influencing thousands of people. And so it's contingent on us as a responsibility to be like very clear with what the message that we're sending out is, because you may not notice.
I'm just a street kid, man, and I've gotten 10 million views on my page so far, bro.
Yeah.
10 million.
Nice.
Just little old us. You know?
Yeah, and that's just it. I mean, that's the empowerment process. We all have, that's the main thing they get us in our society to do, is have apathy on our own power. And so for somebody to say that I'm not going to stick my neck out, I'm just going to go to work and I'm going to just take care of myself and my family and stuff, that's saying a statement that they don't matter. And what I'm saying is, I'm sorry, but I don't agree with that. I think we all matter, and if we all just stepped up to the plate and just did what was in our hearts, everyone's solution is different, you know, but if we all just stepped into the game, then we would see a much different world very quickly.
Definitely. I think I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Thank you for coming on.
Okay.
This is
thank you, brother.
This has been the V2V podcast, episode 23.
I love you guys. Love you, everybody.
Hit that
Love you,
subscribe
Travis.
I love you too, guys.
I don't love
and
all right.
I'll see you on the other side, brothers.
All right, take it easy.
On the flip side.